Alright. Run your current spotlight in the building today with none other.
Json Martin.
Okay, man, look. You want to dive right in, tell the people a little bit about yourself, a little small introduction for those who don't know you.
Sure thing. My name is Json Martin. I am a artist slash producer slash songwriter. I've been doing this for probably well over like 6-7 years. I started off playing in the church and everything just kind of built up from there. I started really getting into, I guess I started off just kind of like playing piano just for the church, and then playing piano and doing hook work, and then I started doing slam poetry and went to nationals for that with Mos Def was my judge.
Wow.
Yeah. And then that transitioned into rap, and everything is just kind of just grown from there. And now I like kind of just work full time, just creating art.
So at what age did you realize like this is what you was gonna do?
Man, I had always hoped it would have been this, but that's just not how it worked out. Like I'd always hoped it would, but like, you know, things really turning into a business and like literally being able to create every day and make money from it, like that only happened within the last 3 years. I just started off just doing it for the love and just posting videos of like just me creating dope stuff, and people just gravitated to it, and it just turned into opportunity.
So like man, when did you realize like the capacity of your creativity?
It's hard to say because I'm around a lot of really, really talented people, and I always consider myself like the least talented out of all of them.
You still learning, yeah.
Like, yeah, I mean, I guess I think it was probably when I went to nationals for slam poetry, because I did that in like high school and like went on full on tour doing slam, where literally all my teachers in school would like let me skip class to go on tour. And I was like, oh well, this is cool. But even then, like, I just was living in the moment.
You didn't realize.
Yeah, I didn't realize, like, you know, I was like, oh, this is great, this is awesome, and but it was just more of like, wow, like, yeah, I was just creating.
So would you put yourself in a certain genre of music, or how would you describe your music?
Man, it's really hard because it's just such a combination. Like, I feel like even just rap and hip hop, or I hate using this word, but urban music.
Yeah.
It's like, is it really rap anymore? Like, there's so many melodic elements to it where it just seems like just a big melting pot right now.
Right.
So it's a little bit of singing, a little bit of rap, like, and I'm such a student of just great music from classic rock to theater to, you know, Broadway stage music to like, I just couldn't pick one. So like, yeah, like there's gonna be stuff where I'm gonna do some really like Prince style type of stuff, and then there's stuff where I'm gonna really go hard and do some very like Talib Kweli, Mos Def, you know, level lyricism type of things.
So like, I know that you mentioned about like the melting pot of the quote unquote rap industry. How do you view that? Do you view that as a good thing, or do you feel like it's hurt the culture?
I feel the melting pot is good. That's great. The structure, not so much. The structure of the industry, not so much. Melting pot is great. I mean, because I feel like there's a lot of fantastic artists that really box themselves in because they're trying to keep up with this persona of, oh, I'm from the hood, you know,
Definitely.
you know, I'm trill, you know, and they stay in this box trying to just keep up, where it's like the possibilities are endless. Right. I'm free to that. I can do whatever I want.
One thing I can say about Denver artists, Colorado artists, everyone I come across, like, man, everybody is such free spirits, you know, like, don't get me wrong, yeah, you might have a few that's trying to, you know, fit in this category, but for the most part, everybody are free spirits. So do you think like being out here shaped you into that, or do you feel like this is just who you are as a person altogether?
I think it's shaped a little bit. Mainly, I think the main reason why that is because Colorado has it's a benefit, but it's also kind of holding us back, where we don't really have a sense of identity, because so much of what we get on the radio is just mainstream. So we get a little bit of everything. We get down south, we get New York, we get the West, we get the Midwest. We just get all of it, and we don't really have enough of different platforms and different radio stations and different moving pieces to where we're kind of really creating our own identity, which is one of the things I think that we're working on. And one of the things that I personally have like really thought a lot about, like, what is our sound? And
do you think y'all sound is meant to be exactly what it is?
Right now, no. I think many of the artists here kind of just borrow and mimic what has already been done. When I think of Colorado, I think of very chill, very relaxed, like, not a little bit edgy, but like we're not New York, we're not LA, we're not Dallas, we're not New Orleans.
That's crazy, cause
like we're just really it's like we said, we're very free, we're chill, we're like vibey, we're wavy.
You don't think it's meant to stay that way,
Yeah.
Because when you mention Colorado, there's no artist come to mind. Like, if you think of the West Coast, you think of YG or E40 or Snoop. You know what I'm saying? Down south, you think of P, Birdman, Wayne. So it's like, but when you mention Colorado, it's like. And the crazy part about it, like, there are artists out here such as yourself that's really doing the damn thing, making a name for yourself, making good music, doing shows, but it's like it's no one that just carries Colorado on their back yet. Yeah,
I mean, and again, I think it's just there's not as many channels. Like, for the first time, I think in a long time, there are more, and just with the use of the internet, like, there's a lot more room for opportunities where artists can actually elevate and really get their name out. But even still, like, it tends to kind of be the same, like, 5 or 6 artists that always seem to kind of get the top opportunities, because there's just not enough room for, like, for everybody to be like at that level, because there's just not enough platforms yet. But I think things are changing.
Okay, all right. So speaking of enough platforms, like radio stations, I know you mentioned like y'all pretty much only hear mainstream music. So there's no station out here that or DJs that's on mainstream radios that have a segment where they can cater to local audience.
There are a few, but they're still, I guess, in terms of like history, still somewhat relatively new. Like, you have The Drop. In Colorado Springs, you have Blaze in 98.5, and and like, even some of the more mainstream ones will now play local artists, but it's very few and far between. But there used to be, like, because a lot of these mainstream radio stations were owned by like Clear Channel, there was just no way. But now, just because again radio has competition with the internet and streaming, where now radio is kind of seeing like its place again in the local community and the need to really represent the local artists again.
That's long overdue.
Yeah, to connect. So like, now the possibilities are there. So like, I'm gonna be on multiple radio stations, and I'm super excited about that. But yeah, for a long time, that was a real barrier to break.
I think that's with most main cities though, and the crazy part about it, a lot of, I wouldn't say artists, a lot of rappers or singers don't understand that. Artists do. But like people that's just trying to get in or don't really understand the business side, they truly don't understand what it takes to break a record.
Yeah.
And then a lot of people, social media is making it to where you really had the opportunity to put in the footwork, the streets, because everybody's focused on thinking the internet is the only way, but you have a lot of people that's too lazy to put in the footwork, so they still, hindering themselves.
Yep, absolutely.
Yeah, so all right, man, let's dive into this single, this new single.
Oh yeah.
Hey, now you know Louisiana, home. How did this come about?
So, I studied a lot of NOLA, New Orleans bounce music, you know, the get you. I studied a lot of it. And I was like, yo, I love this sound. I like how it moves people. I like how it makes people feel good. I was like, I wanted to incorporate it in some way. And I had this really crazy funk track. And I was like, man, would it be crazy if I could combine like this funk with the bounce? And I was able to kind of find that real sweet spot to where it's like the perfect blend of them both, to where you get the bounce but you still get that groove with the funk. And I was like, yes, this is perfect. And I'll be honest, like I think what really inspired me to do that was was Drake.
When did it nice for what?
Yeah, like and was bringing that back. And I was like, man, like, yeah, this is definitely a sound that I love. I've always loved it, but I was like, man, I really dive in it. So
crazy you said that, because when Drake debuted that song, of course it was, mixed. A lot of people, was of support because he put bounce on a whole nother level.
Mm-hmm.
But a lot of people was like, oh man, he culture Jack and this, that, another. But I'm glad he did it. Like, he put a lot of people to another level that was already hot. Like Black and Mild is one of the top producers, not just out of Louisiana, but one of the top producers ever.
Yeah. Yeah. I think when it's done with respect and a true, genuine love for it, and not strictly for monetary gain, is cool. Like, music is music. Music is universal. You can't own it. Like, even when people ask me, yo, can I borrow your hook? Could I borrow this? I'm like, take it, bro. It's like, it's not mine anymore. Right. Legally, yeah. But like,
I put it out there. So,
yeah, but it's like, it's for people to enjoy. So it's like, why would I be so mad at it?
So, speaking of your single, Aura, if you could choose any New Orleans bounce artist to feature on that song, on a remix, who would you choose and why? You've been studying the bounce music now, so
I have the problem. Here's the problem. I would probably, what I really wanted to do when I did it, I wanted to if I had more time, I wanted to go and really seek out like some New Orleans DJs to see if they could do different cuts and different records, because I had to find all these samples myself and kind of make them fit.
Right.
But I was like, man, if I had the time, I wouldn't mind.
It's not too late for that.
I mean, if you know some connects, I don't mind sending it out. I don't mind tracking it out, because like I feel like I still feel like I feel what I did was great, but I still feel like there's just a certain edge. Yep. That's missing, and that's where I really wanted to kind of tap it and connect, but at the time I just didn't have the time.
It's crazy you said that, because we need more of that. People are straying away from giving DJs their props and their credits. And one thing about New Orleans, man, their DJ culture is still very much alive. They still have DJs that's gonna turn any hot song into a bounce song. They still have DJs that's gonna break local artists. So we can make something happen.
Let's let it out. I'm excited. I'm ready for it.
Let's make something happen.
I'm ready for it. Like, that was like my original plan, and I was like, I gotta get this out, because the other artist that features on it, Saint V No Halo, he's from Texas, but I think his family originates from Louisiana.
Gotcha.
Because if you look at him, you can tell he Creole. You can tell. He got the curls. He Creole. You can tell.
Alright. So, with your music, do you direct all of your videos?
Yes. Yes, I do. How can I say this? For the longest time, it was the only way I could get it right.
You know what you want.
Yeah, I know what I want, and like I had to learn how to like simplify it and execute it perfectly so that it still looks great. So much of Aura, a lot of that actually was shot in my living room.
Really?
Much of it, yeah. Yeah, because just working with, doing it yourself, lighting and things like that. I'm like a huge proponent of, DIY and doing what you can professionally to make it look good. So
between producing and videography, which one did you tap into first?
Definitely producing.
Okay.
When I first started, like, it's so weird because, like, when I first started, I never really, like, I never foresaw me doing camera work.
For real?
No.
Always saying that coming.
No.
Now, it's the engineering side that I'll pay for any day.
Yeah. I started that. Like, even then, like, when I first came in, I was like, I just want to do hooks. That's it.
That's it.
I just want to sing and do hooks. And then I was like, well, I don't have, freaking 60 an hour to go to the studio all the time, so let me learn how to do it with myself. And then I actually found out I really liked engineering.
So you basically self-taught, like, all of it?
Now, I did go to school for engineering. Okay. There's certain things I definitely would recommend that you go to school for, engineering, and even film being one of them, because there's just very small intricate things that really set you apart from just people that watch YouTube. Though YouTube is fantastic, going to school for certain things is definitely a benefit. And on top of that, like, the biggest benefit is like the networking and the connections and like literally my top professors, one of them did all the sound for all the Jeepers Creepers movies, won multiple Emmys, and the other one worked with everybody from.
So where did you go to school?
University of Colorado, Denver.
Okay.
Yeah, and the other professor, he's worked with Eminem, Britney Spears, NSYNC, you name it. And like, I can call my professors up anytime if I have a question, even though I've graduated. I'm like, hey, prof, what's up, man? I got this project. What do you think about this? Can I make this? And they'll 100% respond to me, and that's priceless.
Yeah,
it's priceless.
You can't put a price on everything. And then it's amazing the culture itself out here. Like, it's a lot of mainstream stuff that's tied to Denver. So a lot of people have connects, like mainstream connects, but like you say, it's still like missing a few of those pieces to take. It's like people know the creativity is here. That's a given. Everyone knows the creativity is here, and then y'all even have like the fan base here.
Yeah.
But it's just getting over that little hump.
Yeah. I would say, like, the fan base is here, but there's certain musical culture that you just can't recreate. Like, when you go to New Orleans, it's just a different vibe. When you go to Austin, it's just a different vibe. When you go to New York, like, it's just a different vibe.
So do a lot of people out here listen to Louisiana music?
I wouldn't say so much, to be honest. It's gonna be more mainstream hip hop or old school R&B. There's a lot of old school R&B
so
stuff.
What y'all get crunk to in the club?
Whatever's mainstream. Like for real, like whatever is, top 50 on Billboard, that's probably what's gonna play here.
So how do you think, like, what I'm saying, I know it's different type of clubs, different type of venues, but like your quote unquote urban or hip hop club, how do you think they'll take to like having different DJs come out from different places?
It's really funny you say that, because one of the biggest clubs in the nation is here in Denver. It's Beta nightclub.
Wow.
And recently they have started kind of opening up their doors, and I think that's mainly due to the pandemic. Like, all nightclubs and everything was hurting,
right?
And so they've opened up their doors recently to more DJs and just other events. So now, like, they'll do sip and paint on like a certain night.
Oh, that's what
like they'll bring in DJs, because it used to just be a solid straight up EDM club, and then it's transferred over to now doing hip hop and R&B and opening it up. And even that's where I was able to do my other really big single, A1. They let me shoot that in there.
That's where you should. Okay.
Yes.
Okay.
Yes.
So we were speaking of certain things you feel like people should go to school for. Certain things so Like, have you ever taught any classes, like hand-on classes?
Yeah.
Okay.
We're at GBL Studios, the other recording studio that I work at. Soon we'll be implementing an education program where I'll be teaching sound engineering and photography, and we'll be doing certificate training, not full-on degree training, but certificate training. And like, yeah, anytime people call me up or just ask me for questions, like I give them my insight, and who knows, maybe that'll be a new business model.
Yeah, I think we need more of that, because it's a lot of people, man. It's a lot of youth literally turn to the street because they don't feel like they can afford college. You know, they actually have bigger dreams, but it's like, okay, I don't want to be in debt. I don't want to put mom in debt. Nobody's gonna pay for college. True. They don't really know how to go about getting scholarship, but they have the natural talent. You know, so
I mean, I would say there's like connecting that. And you know, getting people kind of away from college debt definitely is something to strive for. I wouldn't mind doing, like, you know, a seminar or something like that. I wouldn't mind that at all. It's just kind of tricky in this case. It's a little tricky to do a seminar with it because, like, you're dealing with physics of sound. You're not just dealing with technology and Pro Tools and software. You're literally dealing with science and physics of sound and sound waves. And if you don't understand that, and if you don't understand frequency and hertz and how the human ear perceives sound,
I think if we went about that route and started opening up more of these like type of classes and events and stuff like that, I think more kids would be interested in stuff like band, choir, orchestra, because they, like, you know, what you don't know, you don't know.
It's true.
But like, once you know, they see, okay, all right, man, Json cool, man, he doing this. Oh man, this man got a studio. Okay, then they're more prone to listen to you versus that band teacher with the glasses from 1960.
This is true.
You know,
this is true. And that's one of the things that I really strive to do with my performances is actually incorporation of actual instruments, so people can. Because I think, like, it's funny, you know, when you look at it. All the way back, you know, Muhammad Ali. Everybody wants to be a boxer. Yeah. Jackie Robinson. Everybody wants to play baseball. Then Motown comes around. Now everybody wants to sing in a group of four. Yeah. Then hip hop comes around. Actually, before that, now everybody wants to be a DJ. Yeah. With dancehall and all that coming around. Now everybody wants to be a DJ. Then the MC comes around. Now everybody wants to be a rapper.
I think we're at the worst of the worst now, though. Yeah. Now everybody want to be a gangster.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, I'll take any of the other ones back. I'll take the breakdancing, bebop, and freestyle. I'll take any of that back. Because what we are now, man, it's hectic.
Yeah, and that's one of the funny things about my degree is it could have went into criminal law aspect, working for the FBI, doing, you know, transcription work and sound engineering and all that type of stuff for the FBI. And like, one of the things I can tell y'all, so listen to me. I know you're not gonna listen, but I need y'all to listen. If you on that gangsta hood shit with modern day technology, you will not be able to walk away with that bag easier than what you would have been able to do it in the 80s, the 90s. Those days are gone.
It's a trap.
That whole thing is gone. And I'm speaking from not only just a sound technology expert, but a video technology expert. You are literally, do you know this? You are literally filmed, whether you know it or not. You are literally filmed, I think it was 14 times a day on average. Whether you know it or not, that's not going away. You literally have tracking devices that you wear in your pocket and that you brag about. Yes, the ops is watching you. So this is why black folks, we have to kind of find a different way. Because that...
It's a trap.
It always was, but now, like, there's no way that you can get the bag from that no more. Like, it's just like, it's a matter of time, and your time just got cut literally in a third. Like I know of devices that literally you can be well over 2 miles away. I can hear every single thing you say. And if you have background noise, that's not a problem. Like, do you want to know how I can do a lot of sample work? I literally can
take a background.
I shouldn't be giving away so much.
Yeah,
but I literally
we got to protect you next.
Yeah, I literally could hypothetically take a song and completely separate the vocals, and it's gonna sound crispy clear. You wouldn't even know it. You would think that I was actually in that recording session and I just took it.
Yeah, technology.
So listen to your boy.
Technology, man.
Gotta find a different way. Be an entrepreneur. Be a 9 to 5. Ain't nothing wrong with a 9 to 5. There's nothing wrong with it. Get the money. Live your life. But find a different way. Definitely do that.
So it's definitely a topic I want to touch on before we get out of here today. Mm-hmm. The state of this country. Mm-hmm. From the last president to the current president to all the police shooters to the BLM to the black on black crimes to the pride, everything. Like, what's your take on everything that's going on in this country right now?
So, little background. Very, very much about activism work. So I went to the Black Lives protests that were here for George Floyd and for Elijah McClain. I was sprayed, gassed, and even had a rubber bullet shot at my head.
Did he hit you?
Thank God no. I still have that bullet. I was able to pick that up. It's literally like this big and like this thick. It's not small. Mm-hmm. And I went to a Trump rally, Stop the Steal, to see to see the perspective. What I can say for certain is we are living in a country that is unsure of itself, unsure of its morals, unsure of its values, unsure of its future, and we can see it in multiple ways. We can see it in music. Yeah. We now can see it in athletics, where if you have enough followers, if you have enough money, you can literally fight the best fighter in the world, arguably one of the best fighters in history.
And there
used to be certain principles that we had and a certain code of honor and ethics that we had, and some of these codes of honors and ethics were based in lies.
Definitely.
Which is part of the reason why
this country
we're unsure. Exactly. We're unsure because some of these principles were based in lies, but some of these principles were based on a code of ethics and were based in truth. What I can say is every empire has a certain point of implosion, and we're a lot closer to it than people think.
And then people noticing, and it's happening right in the front of our own eyes.
Mm-hmm.
Like, how did that make you feel personally? Because y'all have had a few officer involved deaths back to back. Like, as a black male.
As a black male, and it's funny. I know it's a running joke, but an actual descendant of Thomas Jefferson. It's hard for me to get bothered about it that much because I feel like as black people, we were never really given that much stake in this country to begin with.
Oh.
Now, that doesn't mean that if the country goes down that we don't have to worry. But what ultimately I would say is just when you delay justice repeatedly, there are very, very real universal consequences for that.
Yes.
I'm not divisionist, but how is it that our Asian brothers and sisters can get a hate bill passed for a year? And it was a bad year.
Yeah.
Was it Tulsa, Oklahoma bad? No.
Exactly. We were just talking about.
Was it Harlem burning bad? No. Was it Jim Crow bad? No.
Hell no. Nowhere near.
But how is it?
Because they're doing it in our face. They're showing, they're exposing their hands. You know, at first, like everything that's going on now has been going on. Mm-hmm. It was just hidden. Mm-hmm. But like now it's there. It's intentionally there.
Yeah. I think one of the ways that America can really rectify itself is by first starting with one of its oldest mistakes.
What, the Constitution?
Us being here.
Yeah.
Native Americans, but at least, you know, Native Americans got some sort of reparations, though it was really shitty.
Yeah.
But once these mistakes can be fixed and rectified, everything can start falling into place, because the problem is now we can't teach real history because we have to cover it up with the lie.
That's what they've been
doing. We can't really adjust the Constitution because it was founded in hypocrisy to begin with.
Yeah, like the system isn't broken. I keep explaining it to people. The system is doing exactly what it was designed to do.
Absolutely.
Everybody's talking about reform. It's time to dismantle the entire system and reconstruct all together. Like, we're pulling and we're pushing, you know, I'm an activist also. We're pushing for these different bills. Every time, you know, an incident happened, we're marching, we're protesting. But it's like, it's way deeper than that now. Yeah. It's way deeper than that.
Yeah, I'll have to think on that, because dismantling much of it, yeah. I don't even think you have to dismantle. I think you just have to tell the truth. You just have to tell the real ugly truth. You know, you have two different types of people. You have the type of people that show love and they'll coddle you. They'll protect your feelings. They'll tell you what you want to hear to make you feel good. And then you have the other person that's going to look you in the face and say, you're wrong, and this is why you're wrong, and this is what you need to do to get right.
Which one we need?
And we need the latter.
Okay. And last but not least, I always like to ask my guests this. When you leave this earth, what do you want your legacy to be?
I want my legacy to be, when people look at me and look at my life, they say, that's how I want to live. Not even the superficial stuff. Not the money, the material things, the talent. That doesn't matter. He loved his wife right. He raised his kids well. He stood up for what he believed in. He loved God. He cared about people. He gave of himself. He wasn't selfish. It's not about, if you really want to build legacy, it's not about what you hold on to, but what you give.
Yeah, you're supposed to leave it out here.
Yeah.
You leave this earth, you're supposed to leave empty.
Yeah. Okay. And that's how I want to live my life. Like, I want to be that example where people are like, yo,
well done.
Good job.
Got you. Alright, so let the people know any shout outs you want to give, where people can find you, anybody want to book it. The floor is yours.
Okay. See, I want to give a shout out to my mom. You know, you gotta give a shout out to the moms. Give a shout out and praise to God. Want to give a shout out and praise to GBL Studios for all their help. Want to give a shout out to Saint V, being an awesome friend, awesome artist, being on this song with me. Want to give a shout out to you for this opportunity.
Appreciate it.
And yeah, thank you guys so much for having me.
All right, we're out.
Let me open up your chakra. Take you to another level.